Hi, Tim Unkert here, and in this video, we're going to make a worksheet using Python and Pandoc where students have to calculate the mean and the median. Okay, so I'm going to open up my terminal and let's get started. I'll make this a little bit larger for you. I'm going to make a directory called Python Math and then change directories into Python Math. And I'm going to create a file called, let's call it central underscore tendencies dot py. Okay. All right. So let's do this with some objects. So I'm going to create a class, and the class is going to be, let's call it central class, and we're going to instantiate the class, and we'll pass in the self, and then also the data, we'll call it data underscore set, and we'll say that the data underscore set, or no, we're going to say self dot data underscore set equals data underscore set. Okay. And then we'll create a function. Let's call this function mean, and we're going to pass in the self, and we'll say for data value in self dot data set. Well, what we want to do is we want to probably add this to some sum. So our sum, we're going to start off with as 0, and then we're going to say sum plus equals data underscore value. Okay. And also we want to have something to keep track of how many values we have. So we'll also say that I plus equals 1. So for every time we run through the data set, get another value, we increment I, and we add the data value to the total sum. Okay, so then we're going to say that, let's call it the underscore mean equals the sum divided by I. Okay, and then at the end, we're going to return the underscore mean. Okay, and then for the median, we're going to do the self, and we're going to take the self dot data underscore set dot sort, and then we also have to do a for loop, but we're going to say something like if, well, we have to do the length. So if the length of the self dot data underscore set is, let's see, divisible by, or is divisible by 2, and we're going to do that with modulo. So if that happens, then we want to take basically, well, let's say we have a data set of 8 values. We would, for the median, we would sort it and then take the middle 2 values to find the median. We'd average them. And the middle 2 values, really, if we had a data set of 8, that would be from 0 to 7 in terms of indices. So let's see, that would be, we'd have 0, 1, 2, and then we'd average 3 and 4. So we'd divide the length of the data set by 2 and take that as index 1, and then index 2 would be the one less than that. So let's say that index 1 equals the length of the data set. So we want to divide that by 2, okay? And we actually also, we want to make this an integer because our index needs to be an integer. And then for index 2, that's going to be index 1 minus 1, okay? All right, so our median, so we can say the median is going to equal, it's going to equal index underscore 1. Oh, no, actually, it's going to equal the self.data set at index underscore 1 plus the self.data set at index underscore 2, and we're going to divide that by 2. Okay, that's going to be the median. But if that's not the case, we're going to say else, and we're going to say that the index is going to equal the integer of, let's see, do we have to do floor? I think math.floor Python. I think we're going to have to use math.floor. Yeah, so the reason being is we're going to, let's say the data set was 7 values long. So you take 7 divided by 2, it's going to be, well, 0, 1, 2, and then 3 is going to be the middle value. So we're going to do math.floor, meaning we have to import math. So it's going to be the length of self.data underscore set divided by 2. And we're going to do the math.floor of that and make that an integer, okay? And then the underscore median is going to equal self.data underscore set at the index value, okay? And we are going to return the median, okay, for this method. All right, so that's our mean and median there. And so now what we need to do is, well, let's open some files to write to. So we're going to say central file underscore central file equals open, and we'll just call it central.markdown, and we want to append to that. And then we'll also have central underscore file underscore solutions equals open, and we'll have central dash solution dot markdown, and we'll append to that. Okay, and we want to have a different length list for each time. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to generate a random variable for the length of the data list. So I'm going to go actually back up to the start here. I've got to import math first off, and I'm also going to import random, okay? And I'm going to say random length list is going to be, let's just start at 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we'll have data sets between that length. And we're going to do a for loop for the amount of problems that we have. So we're going to say for problem in, let's do range from 1 problem up to 100 problems. So that'd be up to 101 with Python because it stops at the number before. So we're going to say that the length of the list is going to be a random.choice from the random, that's not what I wanted, from the random length list. And so that's going to be our number. And then we'll have to do a for loop, and we'll say and we'll actually start each for loop with a data set is going to be open, okay? And then we'll say for data in range 1 to length of the list, what we're going to do is we're going to add a value. So let's have random underscore values, and let's just do let's do a little for loop up here. Let's do for random number in let's say 1 to 101. We'll do numbers 1 to 100, and we'll start with a random value list. And we're going to make that empty. And we'll say for a random number in those values, we're just going to, actually, it's not going to be a random number. We'll just call it for number. And we're going to put the random value list. So the random value list will, since we're appending the number, it'll be numbers 1 through 100. And then we're going to use random.choice to pick the data. So we're going to say that data underscore set dot append random.choice, and then we're going to take the random value from the random value list and append it into there. Oops, and I forgot. There we go. I forgot extra closing parentheses that I needed there. Okay, so that's going to give us the values in our data list, or our data set rather. And then what we need to do is we need to create a new central object. So we're going to create a central object, and we're going to say, let's say that, let's call this data problem, data underscore problem equals central, and we're going to pass in the data underscore set, okay? And so now what we have to do is we're going to also start to write to some of these files. We're going to have to say something like for central file.write, we'll say something like, please consider the problem set, or please consider the data set below, and then we'll have a new line here. And then we'll write to the central file. And we're going to do an F string, and then we're going to write out, well, we have to write out the values. So we're going to have to do for the value in data set. We're going to then let's write out the values to the central file. So I'll say central underscore file dot write, and then we'll do an F string, and we'll write out the value with a space in between. Or we could do a comma at the end. We'd have a comma on the last one. Maybe we do that. I don't know. There's a comma on the last one. I like just the space idea. Anyway, so we'll close that out, and we'll see how that comes out. And then, so we're writing out the values, and then what we're going to do is do the central file dot write, and we'll write out escape to the new line character. So we'll bring it down a line below, and then we'll do central file dot write, and we'll say something like what is the mean and the median of this data set. This data set, okay, and then we'll have a question mark. Just escape to a new line here. And actually, I don't need the space here because I'm not actually doing an input. And then that'll be the end of that problem. But at the beginning of the problem, what we need to do is we need to do central file dot write, and then this is a markdown file, so let's do an f string, and let's do a second heading, and we'll say problem, and then in there we'll put the actual problem number, okay, and then we do the actual problem below, and we may need to work on the formatting a little bit, but that's, I think, enough for central file, what we're writing. Now we have to write to central file solution. So we're going to do central underscore file underscore sol dot write. And what we're going to write is, again, another f string with the problem and then the problem number. And then what we got to do is we've got to write the solution. So we're going to say central file underscore solution. First, let's write let's do an f string, and then let's write, what do we call this? We called it a data problem. So we're going to do the mean equals, and then data underscore problem dot, and we've got to go up here a little bit and see what we call it. We called it mean. That's easy enough. Dot mean, and then we close that out, and we close this out, and we can say something like central underscore file underscore sol dot write, and one thing we want to do is let's do a new line here, and we'll do an f string, and we'll say median equals, and then I believe it was just median, data problem dot median. Okay, do that method, and then escape to a new line there, and that should be it for our for loop. So now we have to take our central file and close it, and also, central file solution, that file, we're going to close both of those, and let's run it. Okay, so I'm going to open up a terminal. I'm going to say Python 3 central underscore tendencies dot py, and we've got syntax errors in line 11. So let's go to line 11, and oh yeah, I forgot the colon there. Okay, let's save it, bring back the terminal, rerun. Okay, it ran. That's good. I'm going to exit out of there, quit out of here. Let's take a look. It created the central.md. So let's just take a look at that. So central.md. And we see that we've got our markdown with what is the mean and data set of this. Okay, we're getting either 1 or 101 for our values. That's no good. Okay, so let's check that. So we're going to take central .md and then central sol.md. I'm removing those, and then I'm going back into central underscore tendencies.py, and I'm taking a look. Let's take a look. We're either getting 1 or 101. Because we have to include range here. Okay. All right, let's try this again. We're going to run the terminal, and we ran it. Okay, let's exit out. Let's quit out of here. Let's vim into central.md. Okay, so now we've got a nice set of random numbers. In terms of formatting, we need some formatting. Okay, so we need some escape lines. All right, so I'm again going to remove those files and then go into central tendencies.py, and work on the formatting a little bit for our Markdown file. Okay, so want to have a new line here, and maybe 2 new lines, and then right at the end, maybe we also do 2 new lines. Oh no, that's our second file. Please consider the data file below. Okay, maybe 2 new lines here, and then we also have to need maybe 2 new lines here. We'll see how that comes out. And then from here, a new line and a new line. Let's just let's just make it just go with a bunch of new lines. All right, let's run it again. Okay. All right, so let me see what my Markdown file is looking like here. Okay, that's looking formatted quite a bit better than what I saw before. Okay, so now that's good. Okay, let's take a look at central sol.md, I think is what no, that's not what I called it. Let's take a look. Central dash sol. Okay, so central dash sol.md. Okay, and we've got the mean and the median. Good, we've got it calculated well. All right, so now we're going to create a worksheet with it, and I'm going to do Pandoc and then central.md, and I'm going to output central.pdf. Okay, and we're going to run that. And that ran, and then I'm going to do Pandoc central-sol.md and output central-sol.pdf. Oops, I spelled it wrong. Pandoc central-sol.md and output central.sol.pdf. Okay, and boom, did that. Okay, let's take a look. And we'll go into our Linux files, Python math. Okay, so here's our worksheet. Now we could work on the spacing a little bit, but you'll see we've got 100 problems, 13 pages. So, however long you want that for loop to be. And then let's also take a look at the solutions. And we've got our solutions. That looks very nice formatted. We could round these a little bit for our solutions. We could round to 2 places if you really wanted to, but or not. I'll probably put this worksheet or something like it, maybe with maybe at the top I'll put a place for the name and the date, and probably put it on Teacher Pay Teachers. If you do want to support this channel, you can subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications, or you can go to Teacher Pay Teachers. It'll probably be $1 and make a purchase there. Either way, thanks for watching. If you've already liked and subscribed and hit the bell for notifications, that's awesome. If you don't want to support me in any way, but just watch the video, that's cool too. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the next video, and I hope you found this video informative and helpful. Have a great day.